Nothing happens for the first few seconds. No countdown. There is no dramatic musical cue. Just a dark fighter plane sitting at the far end of a Danish runway, absolutely still. Most individuals watching don't even recognize what they're looking at yet. It's only when the cameras hesitate, when expert plane spotters abruptly cease talking, that the tension begins to sneak in. An F-22 Raptor never sits this calmly unless something deliberate is going to happen. The air feels heavy. It looks like the runway is longer than usual, and the distance around the aircraft is wider than it should be. Then, without warning, the sound changes. And in that brief second, everyone realizes the same thing. This takeoff is not normal. The events that follow take place in less than 10 seconds, yet they provide an explanation for why this aircraft is revered, feared, and seldom seen. Stay with this story until the finish, because the most significant component of this moment isn't the pace. It's the message concealed therein. Number 8. A fighter designed to end fights before they begin. The F-22 Raptor was not designed with visibility or spectacle in mind. It was built in secrecy for scenarios where the enemy never sees what defeats them. Every sharp angle, every internal weapons compartment, and every layer of radar-absorbing material exists for a single reason: to dominate airspace stealthily and decisively. The F-22 uses more than just physical force, in contrast to prior fighters. It combines awareness, speed, and stealth into a single, cohesive system. It can patrol, strike, and disengage without making an announcement, thanks to its super cruise capability, which allows it to fly faster than sound without using afterburners. This implies that an F-22 is not flaunting itself when it takes off quickly. It's activating a capability most nations don't possess. Number 7. Acceleration that didn't look real. The moment the pilot committed to takeoff, the jet didn't roll, it surged. The runway markings blurred together due to the rapid and forceful acceleration. Heat shimmer twisted the air behind the engines, making the aircraft look like it was tearing through the atmosphere rather than traveling along it. Long runs were anticipated by observers. Rather, the F-22 suddenly lifted, its nose rising sharply as though it had decided it was no longer in need of the ground. A split second later, there was a sound that reverberated throughout the airbase. It was a loud, overwhelming wave rather than a smooth roar. People froze. A few winced. Others just stared. It wasn't speed for show. This was exactly as anticipated: precise acceleration. Number 6. Why this moment hit Denmark so hard. Military planes are nothing new to Denmark. NATO training flights are regular, well-organized, and predictable. That's precisely why this particular moment's so memorable. Rarely is the F-22 used outside of the US, and when it is, every maneuver is deliberate. These jets are strategic assets, not routine visitors. Just their presence attracts the attention of spectators, allies, and analysts throughout Europe. This kind of high-power takeoff does not indicate fear or hostility. It indicates preparedness. It tells allies that protection is nigh. It conveys to onlookers the reality of competence. And it tells adversaries that some advantages cannot be matched fast. Number 5. Inside the cockpit, control at the edge of physics. From the outside, the takeoff looked violent. Inside the cockpit, it was calm. The pilot was surrounded by data: altitude, speed, system status, all projected directly onto the helmet visor. The aircraft's flight computers adjusted thrust and balance hundreds of times per second, smoothing out forces the human body could never manage alone. Years of training narrowed the moment down to procedure and instinct. No panic, no drama, just execution. That contrast is what makes the F-22 unsettling. Absolute control wrapped in overwhelming power. Number 4. A message delivered without words. No notifications were made after the jet disappeared into the sky. No justifications. No statements. And it was deliberate to remain silent. When it says nothing at all, modern military might frequently speaks loudly. Speeches or demonstrations are less successful at communicating readiness than a single takeoff that is watched, recorded, and replayed. There was no danger here. It was a reminder that there are factors in place to maintain the possibility of calm. Number 3. Why the F-22 is rarely seen and why that silence is intentional. The F-22 Raptor is one of the few modern weapons systems that gains strength from being rarely visible. Unlike other fighter jets that appear frequently at air shows or international demonstrations, the F-22 is kept deliberately out of sight. Production of the aircraft ended years ago, and the United States has never exported it, not even to its closest allies. Every single Raptor in existence is treated as a strategic asset, not a display piece. That secrecy changes how people react when one suddenly appears. There is no sense of routine, no assumption of normality. Instead, questions immediately form: why is it here? What role is it playing? In Denmark, that rarity amplified everything: the quiet wait, the sudden acceleration, the aggressive climb. The takeoff didn't just feel powerful, it felt important, because viewers instinctively understood they were seeing something not meant to be seen often. Number 2. The psychological impact when power shapes behavior. Modern military strength isn't measured only in firepower or speed, it's measured in what people believe is possible. The F-22's takeoff created an immediate psychological effect. People didn't just react emotionally, they analyzed it. Videos were replayed frame by frame. Comments questioned how early the jet lifted off, how steeply it climbed, how quickly it vanished. That curiosity is part of deterrence. When an aircraft demonstrates overwhelming capability without aggression, it forces observers, friendly and unfriendly alike, to recalibrate their assumptions. No weapons were deployed. No targets were locked. Yet the message landed clearly: this aircraft can respond instantly, decisively, and without hesitation. In modern defense strategy, that kind of silent influence is often more powerful than visible confrontation. Number 1. When a routine flight quietly becomes history. On paper, this flight was ordinary. A scheduled movement, a trained pilot, a cleared runway. But history is often built from moments that don't look dramatic at first glance. What turned this into something memorable was no danger, but contrasts the contrast between the calm environment and the extreme capability on display. Between silence and sudden force. Between peace and preparation. For the people who witnessed it, the moment lingered because it felt like a glimpse behind the curtain. A reminder that beneath everyday normalcy, there are systems and individuals operating at extraordinary levels, ready long before they are ever needed. That realization, quiet, unsettling, and unforgettable, is what transformed a routine takeoff into something that felt historic. The sky returned to silence as quickly as it had been broken. The runway looked the same, but the feeling in the air had changed. What people witnessed wasn't noise or spectacle, it was quiet readiness. Moments like this remind us that true power rarely announces itself. It appears, leaves an impression, and disappears without explanation. If this moment made you pause and feel the weight of that silence, hit like and stay tuned for more stories where the sky speaks for itself.